Thrive in 25, and this morning we're sharing tips on how to build better relationships at home and at work. And here to tell us how to do it is psychiatrist Dr. Yalda Safai. Welcome back to the show. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so we're talking about our interpersonal relationships, whether it's at home or at work, and the impact it has on our mental health. Why is that so important?
Well, guys, we're social creatures. In order to thrive both mentally and physically, we need good relationships in our lives. It's as important as air and water. And unfortunately, the Surgeon General declared loneliness an epidemic in this country and a public health problem as damaging to our health as smoking daily.
Wow.
Yes, and we knew this because the CDC warned us that loneliness can increase our risk of cardiovascular disease, stroke, mental health problems, and even dementia. And I got to tell you a personal story. I'm from the Middle East, and I moved to this country about 20 years ago, and one of the first things I noticed right off the bat was how life in the West can get very lonely. And that's because people prioritize work above everything else. So their social lives, their relationships, sometimes even their family takes a back seat to everything else. And I too felt lonely for years as I got engulfed into that culture. And one day I decided I needed to actively make a change and prioritize my relationships for the sake of my mental health, and I encourage you all to do the same.
In other countries, people do congregate. They get together, they gather. There are gathering places for people, and it's very hard to find. You have to really go out of your way to make that happen, I think, in the States.
Yes, true, when people prioritize that work above everything else.
What are some ways to build those relationships, better relationships?
Okay, remember, it's about the quality of your relationships, not the quantity. The feeling of loneliness is more tied into the quality of your relationships rather than how many friends you have. So it's always better to have a few close friends rather than a bunch of acquaintances. So I think this year, focus on the relationships you already have in your life and try to cater to them and foster them and strengthen them.
And put more time into them?
Exactly, guys. You have to make the time. You can't expect your relationships to keep thriving and going strong if you're not actively carving time out of your schedule to tend to your relationships. As we get older because of life obligations, this gets hard, so it has to be intentional. And this is something I like to do and customize as you see fit. I try to make it a point to have dinner with one friend every 2 weeks. That's 2 meals a month, guys. That's totally doable.
But on that night, it does feel like it's the wrong night.
I know. And, I try to make a point to make a phone call to a friend once a week. If you really can't meet up with a friend, there's always FaceTime, there's always the phone, but you have to put in the effort.
And be reliable, yes? Don't cancel.
Exactly. Guys, I think it's really important to follow through on your commitments. Reliability builds trust. Do not cancel on your friends and family unless you absolutely have to. I know it's really tempting. You come home after a long, hard day, and the last thing you want to do is go out with a friend and socialize. But power through, because reliability is important.
Be a person of your word.
Exactly.
And when you get together and have that meal, put away the phones, right?
Exactly.
Be present.
It's really important to be fully engaged and present. Guys, put away the phone. That work email can wait.
Yes.
Gelman's emails can wait.
They can wait.
For a little bit.
Oh, they wait.
Yes. Try to listen more rather than to wait your time to speak. And, with your body language, show that you're engaged. Nod, make eye contact, or ask questions so the other person feels like you're genuinely interested in them. So it's really important to be present.
And how do you get younger people to put their phones away?
Oh, this is difficult. It has to be intentional.
Yeah.
This is very much a problem. You're here and you want to give your full focus to that person in front of you. So what's the point in showing up if you're going to be on your phone all day?
That's right.
And you say this one is not necessarily for everyone, but you should show vulnerabilities?
Yes, it's not for everybody, I get it, but this is something I like to do. We're all human. We have our insecurities, we have our vulnerabilities. I like to open up about those with the person I'm conversing with, because when you open up with somebody, it really gets them to feel safe with you and in turn open up with you as well. So it strengthens bonds, it builds trust, but I get if it's not for you.
All right, we're gonna take a break. More ways to build better relationships this year when we come back.
We're back with Dr. Safai, what are some other tips that can help better maintain relationships?
Sure. First of all, keep in mind that we're all different, so try to respect each other's differences. Believe it or not, differences can be beautiful. You can learn something from somebody else. So listen to understand instead of judge, and don't even try to change anybody because it's not going to work. Yeah, guys.
What's something that we do is really simple but impactful?
So I think giving gratitude to the people in your life, thanking them for their support, for their kindness, for their presence goes a long way. And it can be something as simple as just sending a thank you text message or a handwritten note, just expressing that you care for them and you're thankful that they're in your life. So I think it goes a long way.
Yeah, it does. And what's like one final tip? Like, what's a good final tip?
Sure. Guys, conflict will happen with your friends. It's inevitable. Don't try to avoid it. Instead, embrace it, address it respectfully. Always think it's you two against the issue rather than you versus them.
Good point.
Yes, and please don't forget, if you're in the wrong, you need to apologize,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah, that's.
And I have always batted apology.
Everybody is,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
All right, that was great. Thank you so much.
you,
For more
guys.
information, be sure to visit our website. We'll be right back.